Thank you for joining me on this hot summer morning. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you tuning in each week and seeing what we're talking about. Sometimes it's a little weightier than others, so here's what I plan to do today. I have a pair of trail cams that I put out in April when it was cooler, about 7 or 8 miles south of here. So I'm going to pick up and see if we got anything on those. When I'm done with that, last week I brought up kind of a controversial idea. I asked, have you ever thought about nature and the harshness, the hard side of nature? And how could a loving God create, invent, come up with nature unless there was a bit of a hard edge to God also? So join me. Let's have some fun today. Well, this looks like about as far as I can go in a car. The rest of the way is going to have to be on foot. It's going to take me a couple of minutes to quit puffing and panting after this one. I parked down the hill and I came up this hill. It was a pretty good hill. Then I went down that one. That's a pretty steep one. When I was down there checking the trail cams, I found several compositions I'd like to shoot with the camera, but the camera was back there in the car. So I changed out the trail cams, came back up this hill and back down that hill. And then I drove the car back up this hill and as far as I could get up here anyway, and then walked back down that hill to take pictures and coming back up again. And I'm puffing and panting. Well, last week I talked about nature. And I didn't talk about just the beauty and the majesty of nature, which we mentioned, but we all talked about the harsh side, the predator, the prey. And we were talking about God and God's hand in nature, and I brought up the idea to wrestle with that the God that sometimes we think is kind of mamby-pamby, all love, couldn't ever hurt a fly, kind of a kindly old grandfather in the sky that looks the other way and just would never punish us for the way we act, is the same God that created the food chain. And so I thought, how do we balance that? Well, we've had a week to think about it, so I've been chewing on it too. And I have another idea that I want to bring up that kind of piggies back onto that idea to see what you think of that too. The thought that came to my mind was that perhaps the harshness of nature actually reveals the love and the tenderness of God. Does that make sense? Well, here's the way my thought goes. If no animal ever died, with all of the years of history of our planet, it could not sustain life. There has to be some sort of a selection in there of some kind. And the way that the food chain is built, usually it's the very young or the very old and infirm. And during the prime of their life, the healthy animals play and mate and hunt and live life to its fullest. And then when it gets close to the end of their lives, they are saved the horrors, mostly, of cancer and diabetes and a lot of the things, the diseases, the arthritis, the diseases that we humans battle with for years and years as we slowly decline. It may be that that split second when the predator catches the prey not only nourishes the predator, but it saves the prey of having to lay in a little, do you suppose squirrels have hospital beds or little rabbit hospital beds? For a long, long, long time. You don't have to worry about strokes where they can't function. I don't know. It's just a thought that maybe the harshness of nature actually does show love and compassion. I have one more thought I want to, I want to float past you to see what you think of before I quit today. I'm not really sure about this. It's not a very nice thought. So do with it what you will, okay? We humans try our best to show compassion to our loved ones near the end of their lives. And mostly we do that with medication. As the pain grows, we add more and more and more medication so they pass away peacefully and with honor and dignity, and the least that we can give them is to do that. But I wonder, and I don't want to go too far here, I just want to chew on it, let you chew on it a while. I wonder if while we do that, we take something away from them that might be as important as what we give them. And that is the necessity of facing death head on. Because by the time that we get to that point, usually there are so many drugs in the system that the patient nor the family can communicate. And sometimes things are left unsaid between family members because when a person was still able, they weren't really facing the reality of death. And when they're facing the reality of death, they were no longer able. But perhaps in a bigger way even, the opportunity to make your peace with God. Just like death sometimes affords us the opportunity to make peace with family members and persons that we're kind of crossways with, many of us are kind of crossways with God. And we slip into eternity to face God before ever actually making peace with God. Well, I don't want to go too far. I'm probably going to stir up a hornet's nest and say, how dare you? You just want someone to pass away in pain. And I'm thinking, not me. I don't want that. I mean, I just as soon give me the stuff to dull the senses, but let me make peace with my family, my God. Say my last words to them. Heart issue. What do you think? I like the majesty of these grand old trees. So it's in the shade of this beauty that I remind you that we're about halfway done with this week. We'll soon be worshiping our Lord on Sunday again, so may God bless you and watch over you and keep you between now and then. And may you see the grandeur and the love of God in nature and the world all around us. God bless you.